would like just to give an extremely short introduction to the course and to epidemiology, so to the content of the course. It will be really short, and I will probably not go through all the slides, but it's just to give a flavor of what you will see during this week and the next weeks. And I would like to start with a slide that I borrowed from Rodolfo, intentionally borrowed from him, and which is about what is the name of the game when you speak about epidemiology. And the main concept here is that epidemiology is, first of all, a way of thinking on health in society. So this is the main message, actually. I will give you some examples of a relationship between health and society when you have an epidemiological approach. And this has two implications. The first one is, or two elements. The first element is that with epidemiology, we have a critical attitude to evidence analysis and knowledge building. So it's really about the methods and approach that we use to build the knowledge about health in populations. But the second point is that health is firmly placed in societal context. So when we speak about health, we should also put the health in the context of a given population. This is how we think in epidemiology. So we know that there is a strong relationship between health and the population that we are studying. And I will get back to that as well. This is the classical definition that you see in you have probably encountered many times, and this is taken from the Dictionary of Epidemiology, and basically saying the same things, that epidemiology studies the occurrence and distribution of health-related states in specified populations. So again, also in this definition, the context is really relevant. We study the health of people in a given population. And there will be plenty of time to rediscuss this issue during the course, and I'm sure we will make it clear through examples that this is really happening when we do epidemiology. Just to give you an idea of the importance of the context when we study health, I show here a trend analysis of life expectancy in different populations during the 20th and century for most of the populations here. Actually, in Sweden, which is the yellow line, the data are already available from 1750, but we know that in Nordic countries, people have access to data that is in a quite exceptional way. But you can see here that life expectancy has been increasing over time in most of the populations. These are just examples. So in Sweden, it's the yellow one. I'm not sure whether we have Denmark here. We don't have Denmark. But we have Italy here, which is the purple line. And as you can see, it's very clear that there are some populations, some events that really shape the health in the population. This is the First World War, this is the Second World War. And for example, the Second World War had a strong impact on life expectancy in Italy, but not in Sweden. Different context, then health and populations should be studied differently. As you can see, in some countries like the United States, the increase has been quite homogeneous over time. In other populations, like for example Vietnam, here we have again a war period shaping life expectancy, but it's not only war, of course, that shapes the health. There are also other issues. Here, for example, in South Africa, we can see that at a certain point, the HIV epidemic has really shaped the trend in life expectancy. Or in Russia, when the disruption of the political system at the end of the 20th century has changed the trend, and suddenly the life expectancy went down and then started increasing again after 2000. So it's the political situation, is the health context and external events that can really shape how the health in the populations. And we should, of course, all the time take this into account when we do epidemiology. This is another example on how life expectancy, again, has been changing over centuries. These are data from England and Wales, and this is the life expectancy at different ages. This is at age 0, at birth, age 10, age 20, etc. And this, the first green line is 1841, the second green line is 2011. And as you can see, it has been increasing quite a lot, the life expectancy, which is, we know about it, and is of course good news, and especially for what regards the infant mortality. So the really great change in health in worldwide has been, improvement has been especially in the way infant mortality has been decreasing in most populations over the world. And this is the example in England and Wales. If we take somebody age 70, there has been an increase in life expectancy, but not as large, of course, as for a person age 0. So here there is an improvement, but the improvement is actually constrained by the fact that we can't reach, we can't improve indefinitely the age at death of the population. When we speak about the context, one of the main drivers of the population, of the health of the population, is of course the socio-economical context. And we know that the strange things has happened in the last 30 years, 40 years in the world. And the main thing that happened, at least in high-income country, is that the inequalities that were present in 1970 actually has been widening over time. Here you can see a graph of income by percentile between 1970 and 2015. And as you can see, the income has not been increasing for those with low income. So this is the blue line here is the 10th percentile, and the red line is the 20th percentile, and they have been quite flat, no improvement. While for higher percentiles, so for the highest percentiles, the improvement, the increase in income has been quite large, as you can see from these lines here. And this, the pale blue line is actually using a different scale on the right side, is the increase in income for the top 1% of the population in the United States, which went from 400,000 to 1 million here in 30 years. So a huge increase in income. And this has impact on the health of the population. So as we can see here, this is the increase in life expectancy, again in the US, from 2000 to 2013, so in 15 years, more or less. And as you can see, you have to compare the distance between the blue line and the green line to get an idea of improvement in life expectancy. expected age of death, and as you can see, there has been an improvement throughout the range of the income. Here you have low income households, and here you have high income households. But the improvement has been larger for the high income households. And this is evident for men, but is especially evident for women, in which there has been a larger improvement here at high incomes than here at low incomes. And you can also see that the difference between high income and low income, which is quite large in the United States, at least, but also in many other countries, it is quite it is quite alarming, actually, because we have 87 years around here in high income households in 75. So it's a 10-year difference in life expectancy between the highest income compared to the lowest income. It's a huge difference. And this is really important because this is what we do in epidemiology. We try to investigate these differences to try to reduce them. I will get back to this message, actually. This is the same thing when it comes to the difference in life expectancy between males and females. And this is in different cohorts and in different countries. So there are a lot of dots. It's quite complicated graph with a lot of colors. But as you can see, actually, depending on your cohort of birth and your country where you live, the male to female difference in life expectancy can go from above 0, so men live more than women, to less than 10 years, so women live 10 years longer than men. So this means that it's not only biological, let's say, but it has little to do with biology, or not only biology, but it's really the context that creates the differences in life expectancy, even within the same population, when it comes to gender, and when it comes to income, and when it comes to many other aspects. Here you have, I will have to go fast for these slides, but don't worry. As I said at the beginning, I had more slides for the introduction than time to go through them. It's not a problem. And just want to say that, of course, we have to mention the COVID-19 epidemic. We have to mention it because it really shaped epidemiology in the last year. It's shaped everything, actually, in the last year. But when it comes to epidemiology, we know that every single aspect of epidemiology was affected by COVID-19. Here you have a list. It's an incomplete list. So predictions, statistics, the efficacy and effectiveness of treatment, the use of diagnostics tests, the screening, for example, in schools or in the whole populations, the study of individual risk factors for the disease and for the prognostic factors, the interlink with environmental issues, the effectiveness of non-pharmaceutical interventions, the population impact, inequalities, methods, everything was really touched by the COVID-19 epidemic. And we will go through all these different issues during the course. So we will try to tackle all aspects of epidemiology, and of course in each of these aspects it will be possible to make examples on COVID-19. In the third week we also have a course specifically on infectious diseases, which was infectious disease epidemiology, which was actually introduced in 2019, so before the COVID epidemic, and now it's even more relevant now than it was before. We learned a lot during this year of importance of general issues that are important when it comes to epidemiology. It's not only a technical discipline, but we also need to communicate the results, interact with policymakers. We reinforce this concept that epidemiology is a multidisciplinary approach. The time matters a lot. We need to have results in a given period of time and trying to act on the results. The data quality and data access, it became even more important than ever. And that we need existing infrastructures and knowledge of epidemiological methods already in place. So this course is also intended to actually improve this aspect. And then we need to be able to use all the evidence that we have in order to take decisions. So it was really a reminder of many aspects that we have to take into account when we do epidemiology. I'm going to skip these two slides to just end, saying that again that there is a very close relationship between epidemiology and population health, because we study associations in the populations, but the populations, so they are a kind of tool for research. This slide comes from Rodolfo again, but the populations are the targets for our action. So this is a virtuous cycle in epidemiology. We really have to take this into account. What we do is to use basically the differences in risk that we have naturally in the populations, but the aim is try to intervene on this difference and trying to maximize the equality in health. And you will see many examples, as I already said, about this virtuous circle, which really cycle that's really characterize epidemiology. So I just gave you a flavor, an introduction to the course in like 15 minutes interaction. And I want to not to be the first to be longer than the scheduled allocated time. So I will stop here, and I hope you will have a great course. We have many possibilities to interact during these 3 weeks. And now we will have a 5-minute break, and at 9:35 we will start with the next lecture. So see you in 5 minutes.